Hey guys, welcome back to Mystifying Miracles. I'm Kristen, and I search out true stories every week and present them to you guys. And the stories always have at least one miracle in them. So listen along and we're going to dive right in. It was Mother's Day in 1992 when a man named Michael Murray grabbed his two children, and they were going to the hospital where his wife worked as a nurse. They were going to give their mom, Deanna, two little presents. So the two kiddos were excited to give their mom her Mother's Day gifts. And so they had a rose for her, but they also had a little gold necklace, and the words on it said, "Number one, Mom." So Michael just wanted to do that, take his children, do something nice for his wife for Mother's Day. So they visit her, the kids give her gifts, she's ecstatic, and then they begin to leave and go on their way. So Michael grabs up the two kiddos and he heads back through the dark indoor garage, and he has to buckle in, of course, the children. So he begins to buckle in his 20-month-old daughter. But while he was doing that, he had to set down the other baby, who was 3-month-old Matthew. And so he sat him in his carrier and put the carrier on top of the sunroof of his 1987 Hyundai. He gets the girl all buckled in, and then he proceeds to sit in the driver's seat, buckle himself in, and begins to back the car up and head on out of the garage, forgetting that 3-month-old Matthew, he's still up top in his carrier on top of the car. Michael begins to go down all the busy streets, and he's heading towards Interstate 290. And surprisingly, there was not one honk from another car. There was no wave. There was no people on the streets. No one was making any noise or gestures to wave him down to tell him, there's a carrier up there on your car. So he's just oblivious, and he's driving along. He starts to enter the highway ramp, and traffic's pretty thick. It's not bumper to bumper, but it's not desolate either. So he begins to speed up to 50 miles per hour. Yeah, you heard that right. 50 miles per hour with a baby on top of the roof. He begins to hear a scraping noise coming from the top of his car, and he's thinking to himself, what on earth is that? And of course, it was the baby carrier that was beginning to slide. Michael takes a quick glance backwards to look back to where Matthew should be in the back seat, and he realizes, He immediately then looks up into his rear view, and he can see the baby carrier flying off behind him down the highway. You can imagine how panicked, how terrified he must have been. And a quote that I found looking through news stories about this particular thing, Michael says, quote, "That's where he landed, in the middle of the interstate, in the path of oncoming traffic," end quote. So as that car seat carrier is just sliding down the highway, traffic, of course, is speeding towards it at the same time. Well, there happened to be a 67-year-old gentleman by the name of James Boothby, and he had seen all this happen, all this occur, and at first, right off the bat, before he saw the whole thing, he thought that somebody had just thrown some trash out their car window or something. But he quickly realized that, oh gosh, that's not trash. That's a baby. And after thinking it was trash, he then sees the carrier and he thinks that it's just a doll. But then he sees the baby move and the mouth opens, and he realizes, oh my gosh, that's a real baby. He sees the carrier car seat itself bounce several times on the highway before coming to a complete stop. And he says, despite all that, he said that carrier never once flipped, turned, fell over, nothing. It held its shape, it held its position upright and just was sliding till it came to a stop. after, bouncing a few times. So James hits the brakes immediately and he begins to turn his car around and he wants to block traffic that's coming onwards to try to protect this baby. He hops out of his vehicle and he runs straight over to baby Matthew. He looks him over. Not one scratch, not one bit of harm was done to baby Matthew that day. Just as James is picking the baby up, here comes Michael running across and he hands off baby Matthew, and Michael's he's probably feeling all these emotions, like overjoyed, thankful, but terrified all in one, because James says that on Michael Murray's face, it was just complete terror. He was scared to death. And again, as I said, obviously the dad, Michael, he's thankful. He tells James, thank you for the help. So after this whole ordeal happened, Michael, he actually was cited for driving to endanger from all this happening. But, the miracle was that this baby was not harmed, not one little hair on his head, that's a miracle. And everyone, including the news stations, even referred back then in 1992, they referred to little Matthew as the miracle baby. This was a quick one again, guys, but hey, I think it's obvious. God intervened in this situation for sure, and he prevented what would have been a horrific tragedy had somebody actually hit little Matthew. So thank the Lord that did not happen. Let me know what you guys think. Those that were around in 1992, do you remember this story happening? I was a kiddo, so I, of course, don't remember it back then. But yeah, what a crazy one, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And just like and subscribe if you like these true stories, guys. And I just thank you. I thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all the support I get from family, friends, and new people that are subscribing. It just makes me happy. So thank you. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you for the next one.